මගේ YouTube channel එකට සාදරයෙන් පිළිගන්නවා. මම අද අරන් ආවේ ඩයිනෝසෝර්ලා පිළිබඳ පොඩි විස්තර කිහිපයක්. මේ විස්තර කියන්නේ ඉංග්‍රීසි භාෂාවෙන්. මේක දෙන්නත් හිතුවේ තාක්ෂණය සම්බන්ධ ගැටුණු මේ වීඩියෝ එකක් නිසා. ඒ නිසා වැඩි කතාවක් නැතුව යන් එන වීඩියෝ එකට.
Tyrannosaurus rex, meaning tyrant lizard, is the best-known species in the genus Tyrannosaurus. It lived in the late Cretaceous period, 65.5 to 67 million years ago. It may have been an apex predator, but it has also been suggested that it was a scavenger. The forelegs of the T-Rex were small but strong. They may have been used in mating, feeding, or helping the animal rise from a resting position. The hind legs were large and strong and used for running. The tail was long and heavy to counterbalance the huge weight of the head and the body. According to previous representations, the tail served as a support for the body, but this view has been proved wrong. The spine of the T-Rex was nearly horizontal as it walked. The first partial T-Rex skeleton was found in the US in 1900. Since then, more than 30 have been found. They provide scientists with a great deal of information about the characteristics of these ancient reptiles. Formerly known as the Brontosaurus, lived presumably during the late Jurassic period, 150 million years ago. The body length of the animal reached around 20 meters. Its weight was 30 tons. Despite the dinosaur's immense dimensions, its skull was only about 50 centimeters in length. The Apatosaurus was a peaceful herbivore. It needed to feed on plants most of the day to obtain sufficient energy for survival. The Apatosaurus used its long, powerful tail and the claws on its front feet for defense. The animal was probably capable of standing on its hind legs for a short period of time. Triceratops lived approximately 65 to 70 million years ago. It was named after its three horns, which, together with its bony frill, played an important role either in defense or in mating, and in the establishment of a pecking order. It was a type of herbivorous dinosaur, using its beak to tear at plants. It had several hundred teeth, which were used for chewing. It fed primarily on plants from the understory, but it was also able to tear down trees to eat their leaves. Stegosaurus lived in the Jurassic period, some 145 to 150 million years ago. It had distinctive tail spikes and 2 rows of plates on the back. The latter rose from the skin on the Stegosaurus's back and were not attached to its skeleton. While the tail spikes were most likely used for defense, the back plates probably had thermoregulatory and heat transfer functions as they increased the body surface of the animal. The plates had blood vessels running through them, the diameter of which grew in warm weather, thus intensifying heat transfer. The dermal plates might also have served to increase the apparent size of the animal, thereby deterring predators. Its body mass might have exceeded 5 tons. Its brain was small in proportion to the body, weighing as little as 80 grams. The Stegosaurus was herbivorous, feeding on low-growing plants. It had a toothless beak and cheek teeth. The Stegosaurus is one of the most distinctive and best-known dinosaurs, appearing in a great many films, such as Jurassic Park, whose name means terrible claw, is a genus of carnivorous dromaeosaurid dinosaurs. It lived during the early Cretaceous era, around 115 to 108 million years ago. A great many Deinonychus fossils have been found in the western part of the United States. The Deinonychus had an unusually large sickle-shaped claw on the second toe of each hind foot, which was held up off the ground as it walked. The dinosaur thus walked on its third and fourth toes. Its long, straight tail was used for balance and rapid movement. It is believed that its body may have been covered in feathers. Archaeopteryx lived in the late Jurassic period, about 150 million years ago. It is the oldest known bird. Its body length was up to half a meter, that is, about the size of a raven. The animal is a transitional form between dinosaurs and birds. As such, it exhibited several traits characteristic of dinosaurs. It had teeth and a long, bony tail. Several anatomical features suggest reptilian ancestry, such as the pelvis, which resembled that of reptiles, and the 3 fingers with claws on the wings. The first fossil related to the Archaeopteryx was a fossilized feather found in Germany in 1861. Since then, several other fossils have been found in Germany, some of which included a full skeleton and plumage. Longiceps was a flying reptile that existed around 85 million years ago during the late Cretaceous period. The word Pteranodon is derived from the composition of the Latin words for wing and toothless. The reptile's wingspan reached up to 7 meters. Its body length was 1.8 meters, while its weight was 20 kilograms. The Pteranodon longiceps settled along rocky shores, where it fed mainly on fish. Its body was presumably covered with hair, which had a role in thermal insulation, since the animal was warm-blooded. Its well-developed brain, perfect sight, and hollow bones assisted it in flying. Pterosaur, or prehistoric flying reptile, that existed in the late Cretaceous, about 65 to 70 million years ago. Fossils were discovered in the 1970s. It was named after Quetzalcoatl, the Mesoamerican feathered serpent deity. According to recent theories, although capable of flight, the Quetzalcoatlus spent most of its time on the ground. It used both its hind legs and forelegs for walking. The Quetzalcoatlus was a predator which fed on small vertebrates. The Quetzalcoatlus had a huge head. Like all other giant pterosaurs, its beak did not contain teeth. Its wings resembled those of bats. They were formed of a membrane of skin that stretched from the body to the front limbs and was attached to an elongated 4th finger. The Quetzalcoatlus had a wingspan of approximately 11 meters, which is 3 times larger than that of the wandering albatross. Therefore, the Quetzalcoatlus is considered the largest flying animal that ever lived on Earth. Compared to its size, its mass was relatively small at about 200 to 250 kilograms. The fossils revealed that, unlike other reptiles, the Quetzalcoatlus's body was covered in fur. The Quetzalcoatlus's skeleton was similar to that of birds in many respects. Not only were its bones hollow and therefore very light, but its flat breastbone was large enough for the flight muscles to attach to it. Ammonites are a group of cephalopoda that appeared about 400 million years ago during the Devonian period. They died out with the dinosaurs 65 million years ago during the Cretaceous period. The characteristic feature of the Ammonites was their spirally coiled calcareous shell divided into chambers. As the animal grew, the shell also grew, and further chambers were added. The animal always lived in the outermost chamber. By changing the ratio of gas and water in the inner chambers, the animal could float in the water and change depth. In objects carved in limestone, we can often find Ammonite fossils. This proves how widespread they were. The period of the Paleozoic era was warmer and drier than the Carboniferous period. The interior of the supercontinent Pangaea became increasingly drier and was characterized by desertification. Due to this climate change, the formerly abundant vegetation became scarcer, new species of plants appeared, and mammal-like reptiles began to spread. The end of the Permian period was marked by the Permian-Triassic extinction event, 251 million years ago. Following the eruption of a supervolcano, the gases released into the atmosphere triggered a greenhouse effect, leading to global warming. Due to a 10 degrees Celsius average increase in temperature, 96% of marine species and 70% of land species died out. Dimetrodons were the terrestrial apex predators of the Permian period. The genus Dimetrodon contains 20 different species that measured 1.7 to 4.6 meters in length. Their dorsal sail, which was formed by elongated vertebral spines and skin, was presumably used for thermoregulation and communication. Dicynodonts were the most widespread terrestrial vertebrates, with around 70 genera, varying from the size of a rat to that of an elephant. They had a beak, similar to that of turtles, on the front part of their mouth, while long tusks grew behind it. These herbivores built their nests in subterranean tunnels. Gorgonopsids were carnivores. There were 41 species, the smallest of which was not larger than the size of a dog, with the largest being the size of a bear. They had huge saber-like teeth, with which they could cause fatal injuries to their prey. In the Permian period, lakes, rivers, and swamps had very rich fauna. Freshwater sharks and large amphibians occupied the top of the aquatic food chain. Orthocanthus was a freshwater shark, similar in shape to eels. It could measure up to 3 meters in length. Diplocalus, which was an amphibian species, became widely known for its unique appearance. From head to tail, the animal measured approximately 1.3 meters in length and weighed 15 kilograms. The protrusions on the sides of its skull made its head look like a boomerang. As a result of the dry climate, the number of sigillaria and pteridospermatophyta decreased significantly. In the Permian period, conifers became widespread thanks to their ability to adapt to drier conditions. Walchia was a prehistoric conifer. Its leaves were similar to the pine needles of Araucaria. Cycadales, or cycads, also adapted very well to the climate of the Permian period, so they also became widespread. The trunk of these palm tree-sized plants was straight, but some species in the order had barrel-like trunks. The best-known species is Buvia. Ginkgophytes appeared along the coast, where the climate was more humid. The only extant species of these deciduous plants is Ginkgo biloba, which is considered a living fossil. The most successful arthropods in the Permian period were proto-cockroaches, for example, the genus Aptheroblatina. The first beetles appeared during this period. Unlike other insects, beetles have hard outer wings, which protect the membranous underwings and provide a human environment for the spiracles, preventing the animal from dehydrating. This boosts their chances of survival. Dragonflies also emerged in this period. Some were similar in size to present-day dragonflies, but there were species much larger than those we can see today.
මට අද මගේ වීඩියෝ එක. ඔයාගේ අදහස් කමෙන්ට් බොක්ස් එකේ කමෙන්ට් එකක් දාන්න. මගේ YouTube channel එක subscribe කරලා නැත්නම් subscribe button එක press කරලා bell icon එක all දාගන්න. මගේ වීඩියෝ එක හොඳයි කියලා හිතනවා නම් like එකක් දාන්න. ඔයා දන්න අඳුරන කට්ටිය share කරන්න එහෙම අපිට කරන්න එපා. එහෙනම් අදට මෙච්චරයි. මම ටර්සන් ඉම්හාර